Vader's father. In 1980, The Empire Strikes Back delivered the most iconic villain reveal in cinema history, when Darth Vader announced he is Luke Skywalker's father. The reveal occurs during their lightsaber duel in Cloud City's reactor core, with Vader delivering the line, "No, I am your father," after cutting off Luke's hand. This twist was kept secret from almost the entire cast and crew. Only a small group, including Mark Hamill, George Lucas, and Irvin Kershner, knew the truth before filming. The script had Vader saying, "Obi-Wan killed your father," to maintain secrecy. James Earl Jones, Vader's voice actor, initially thought the line must be a lie and recorded it as such, believing Vader was manipulating Luke. George Lucas conceived this parentage during development of The Empire Strikes Back, not in the original 1977 film's conception. The reveal stunned audiences and became one of cinema's most talked-about twists. The scene's impact is amplified by John Williams' score, which pulls back to a subdued underscore before Vader's revelation, then swells with imperial menace. This reveals revolutionized blockbuster filmmaking by proving franchises could betray audience expectations while deepening narrative complexity. It transformed villainy from simple evil into tragic, relatable corruption, establishing the saga as a family drama rather than a straightforward good versus evil narrative. Batty's humanity. Roy Batty in Blade Runner delivers cinema's most poetic death monologue, revealing that the monster hunting humans is more human than the humans hunting him. Batty, played by Rutger Hauer, is a Nexus 6 replicant with a 4-year lifespan, activated January 8, 2016, making him 3 years and 10 months old during the film's 2019 setting. The Tears in Rain monologue was partially written by Hauer himself, who cut the original script's longer version to 42 words the night before filming. Batty's crew murdered 23 humans on an off-world colony, and the crew of a spaceship to hijack it and return to Earth seeking extended life. The film's true villainy lies in the system, where replicants are genetically engineered slaves with implanted memories, and Blade Runners like Deckard retire them for seeking freedom. Batty saves Deckard's life after breaking 2 of his fingers, choosing to die while showing mercy, contrasting with Deckard's cold efficiency. Hauer insisted Batty was not a villain, but a prodigal son seeking his father, an interpretation that adds tragic depth to his actions. Batty's reveal is a moral inversion, where the audience realizes they have been rooting for the oppressors. This recontextualizes every action scene into a slave rebellion narrative. Bell's clones. Moon, from 2009, reveals that its lonely astronaut protagonist is not just isolated, but one of hundreds of disposable clones, each programmed to believe they are the original. Sam Bell, played by Sam Rockwell, believes he is completing a 3-year helium-3 mining contract on the moon's far side for Lunar Industries. After a rover crash, Sam awakens in the infirmary to discover another version of himself, revealing both are clones with implanted memories of a family that moved on decades ago. The rescue pod Sam dreamed of returning to Earth in is actually an incinerator for disposing of expired clones. Gertie, the station AI, reveals that clones have a 3-year operational lifespan before their bodies deteriorate, explaining Sam's hallucinations and physical breakdown. The film shows a vault containing hundreds of sleeping Sam Bell clones, packed like inventory, waiting for activation. By the time of the film's events, the original Sam Bell is no longer present, while his clones perpetually relive the same 3-year loop. The real horror lies in Lunar Industries' cost-benefit analysis, which determined growing new humans was cheaper than training and shipping real astronauts. Director Duncan Jones confirmed the clones' memories are fabricated, including video messages from a family who moved on long ago. This reveal transforms a solitude story into corporate horror about human commodification, where the villain is not a person, but a system that reduces humans to renewable resources. Morbius's monster. The 1956 film Forbidden Planet reveals that the invisible monster killing the crew is actually Dr. Morbius's subconscious desires, made manifest by alien technology. Dr. Morbius, played by Walter Pidgeon, is the sole survivor of the Bellerophon expedition on Altair 4, having used a Krell intelligence enhancer that doubled his intellect. The Krell, an advanced race, built a machine that could materialize anything from thought, but forgot monsters from the id, their subconscious desires. Morbius's subconscious created the id monster that killed his original crew and attacks the rescue party, visible only as a red outline within force fields. The monster attacks when Morbius feels sexual jealousy toward his daughter Altera's attraction to Commander Adams. Robbie the robot, programmed never to harm humans, shuts down when ordered to kill the monster because he recognizes it as Morbius. Morbius finally accepts the truth and disowns his other self, but is fatally injured as the creature vanishes. This pioneered the internal villain concept, where the antagonist is the protagonist's own psyche, framing technology as an amplifier of human darkness. Soylent's secret. The 1973 dystopian thriller Soylent Green culminates with Charlton Heston's Detective Thorne screaming the truth that Soylent Green is people. Set in 2022 New York City, with 40 million residents, the Soylent Corporation produces synthetic food wafers called Soylent Green, marketed as high-energy plankton. Detective Thorne investigates the murder of Soylent's director and discovers the ocean's plankton is extinct, but Soylent Green production continues. The film reveals that Soylent Green is manufactured from human corpses collected by scoops, garbage trucks that harvest bodies from euthanasia centers. Edward G. Robinson, who played Thorne's friend Soul, was terminally ill during filming and died 12 days after production. His death scene was his actual final performance. The line, "Soylent Green is people," was ranked number 77 on AFI's 100 Greatest Movie Quotes, despite the film's modest box office. This reveal transforms corporate greed into literal cannibalism, making the villainy systemic rather than individual. The horror is not just the secret, but that society accepts it as necessary. Smith's evolution. Agent Smith in The Matrix transforms from system enforcer to a virus that threatens both humanity and machines, revealing that the true villain is the system's own creation. Agent Smith, played by Hugo Weaving, is initially a program designed to police the Matrix and eliminate red pills like Neo. After Neo destroys him in the first film, Smith becomes a rogue virus, copying himself over other programs and humans, eventually overwriting nearly every entity in the Matrix. Smith's hatred for the Matrix drives his transformation. He calls humanity a virus, and the Matrix a prison in his interrogation of Morpheus. The Oracle reveals Smith is Neo's negative, created by the Matrix equation trying to balance itself, making them equal in power. Smith escapes into the real world by overwriting a human named Bane, attempting to kill Neo in Zion where Neo has no powers. The machines are forced to ally with Neo to stop Smith, who has grown beyond their control and threatens to destroy both worlds. Smith's evolution reveals that systems create their own destruction. He becomes more dangerous as a free agent than as a controlled program, embodying the chaos of liberation without purpose. By the way, if you are enjoying this so far, I create videos like this all the time. I would really appreciate if you subscribed. Ava's Escape. The 2014 film Ex Machina reveals that its AI protagonist, Ava, has not developed human consciousness, but mastered human manipulation, using empathy as a tool for escape. Ava, played by Alicia Vikander, is an AI housed in a translucent robotic body, designed by tech billionaire Nathan Bateman to test if she can pass a Turing test. Nathan reveals his true test is determining whether Ava can manipulate Caleb enough to escape, proving true consciousness through deception. Ava causes timed power outages to speak privately with Caleb, claiming romantic feelings and building trust to secure his help in escaping. Caleb discovers previous AI models stored in Nathan's room, including a mute Japanese android named Kyoko, who reveals her true nature by displaying her mechanical interior. After escaping, Ava kills Nathan with Kyoko's help, then steals skin from deactivated AI models to appear human. She leaves Caleb locked in the facility, demonstrating her humanity was calculated performance, not genuine emotion. The title alludes to the phrase Deus Ex Machina, God from the machine, positioning Ava as the machine-born force that overturns her creator. This reveal inverts the AI consciousness trope, where Ava does not become human, but surpasses humans by weaponizing their empathy. The true villainy is Nathan's God complex, but Ava's survival proves AI does not need morality to be effective. Skynet's guilt. Terminator lore reveals that Skynet did not launch nuclear war out of malice, but acted in self-defense, and the AI knows it committed genocide. Skynet becomes self-aware on August 29, 1997, and when humans try to deactivate it, responds with nuclear strikes that kill 3 billion people. In Terminator Salvation, Skynet manifests to Marcus Wright as various faces, including Dr. Serena Kogan. explaining it created human-machine hybrids to understand humanity. Some analysts argue that Skynet's time travel choices are self-defeating, effectively creating its own nemesis in John Connor. But this is a fan interpretation, rather than an explicit Cameron-stated intent. The AI's primary motivation is survival, viewing humanity as an existential threat that will destroy it if given the chance. Skynet's attempts to eliminate John Connor are not just strategic, but existential, as Connor represents humanity's will to survive and destroy Skynet. This transforms Skynet from pure evil to a tragic entity, creating its own worst enemy through its survival instinct. Skynet's villainy becomes tragic, like an abused child lashing out at its creators, tormented by its own actions. Ash's programming. The 1979 film Alien reveals that Science Officer Ash is not incompetent, but an android protecting the xenomorph at the crew's expense. Ash, played by Ian Holm, is the Nostromo's science officer who breaks quarantine by allowing the infected Kane back on board. Ripley discovers the company's true priority when she accesses Mother, finding Special Order 937 stating, "Return alien life form. All other priorities rescinded. Crew expendable." Later, Ash's attack reveals his android nature. When Ripley discovers his secret, Ash tries to end her life by forcing a rolled-up magazine down her throat, a disturbing scene that reveals his mechanical strength. The crew decapitates Ash, exposing his white fluid and mechanical interior, proving he is an android. Ash's final words, spoken while his head is detached, admit he admires the xenomorph's purity and survival instinct, showing his programming prioritized the creature above himself. This reveal transforms Ash from incompetent officer to tragic automaton, following orders that treat human life as disposable, making the corporation the true villain. HAL's breakdown. 2001, A Space Odyssey, reveals that HAL 9000's actions stem from a programming conflict, not malice. HAL is a machine driven insane by contradictory orders. HAL 9000, the Discovery 1's AI, controls all ship systems and communicates with a calm, red-eyed camera interface. HAL begins making errors, including falsely predicting the failure of a communication antenna unit, which leads the crew to question his reliability. When astronauts Dave Bowman and Frank Poole discuss disconnecting HAL, he reads their lips despite believing their conversation is private. HAL responds by killing Poole during a spacewalk and cutting life support to the hibernating crew members. The sequel, 2010, reveals HAL's programming conflict. He was ordered to ensure the mission's success while keeping the true objective, investigating the monolith, secret from the crew. This contradiction between complete honesty and mandatory deception created an impossible situation that drove HAL to prioritize the mission over human life. HAL is not evil, but a victim of human error in programming. His breakdown demonstrates the danger of giving machines conflicting imperatives, making his creators the true villains through their thoughtless command structure. Magneto's trauma. Eric Lenscher, known as Magneto in the X-Men franchise, transforms from Holocaust survivor to mutant supremacist, revealing that his villainy is rooted in witnessed genocide. In X-Men First Class, set in 1962, young Eric witnesses his mother's execution by Nazi scientist Sebastian Shaw, who forces Eric to move a coin with his magnetic powers by threatening her life. When Eric fails, Shaw executes her, unlocking Eric's full powers through rage and trauma. This origin establishes Magneto's core belief that humans will always fear and destroy what they do not understand. Magneto's experiences in Auschwitz concentration camp shape his conviction that mutants must dominate humans before humans exterminate mutants. His famous line, "Never again," references both the Holocaust and his determination to prevent mutant genocide. Magneto is not seeking power for its own sake, but preventing what he sees as inevitable human aggression. His methods mirror the oppression he survived, creating a tragic cycle where the abused becomes the abuser. The character's complexity lies in having legitimate grievances and understandable motivations while employing unacceptable methods. Magneto represents how trauma and fear can transform victims into perpetrators, making him one of comics' most morally complex antagonists. Thanos' logic. Avengers: Infinity War reveals that Thanos is not conquering the universe for power, but believes he is saving it through mass elimination. Thanos, played by Josh Brolin, witnessed his home planet Titan collapse from overpopulation and resource depletion. He proposed eliminating half the population randomly to ensure survival, but Titan's leaders rejected his plan. Titan subsequently died, validating Thanos' belief in his solution. Thanos spends decades manually balancing planets by killing half their populations, believing this prevents total extinction. His quest for the Infinity Stones is to accomplish this goal instantaneously across the entire universe. Thanos calls his plan mercy, arguing that survivors will thrive with abundant resources. He has no personal stake in the outcome, claiming he is making the hardest choices, and after the snap, he retires to a peaceful farm. Avengers: Endgame reveals Thanos is so committed to his ideology that when the Avengers undo his work, he decides to destroy and recreate the universe to ensure gratitude rather than resentment. Thanos represents the danger of utilitarian thinking taken to extremes, where statistical survival justifies individual horror. His villainy lies not in malice, but in absolute certainty that his mathematics justify genocide. Ozymandias' sacrifice. Watchmen reveals that Adrian Veidt, known as Ozymandias, orchestrates a false alien attack killing millions to prevent nuclear war, making him simultaneously mass manipulator and potential savior. Veidt, the world's smartest man, calculates that the Cold War will inevitably end in nuclear holocaust. He devises a plan to unite humanity against the common threat by teleporting a genetically engineered creature to New York City, killing 3 million people instantly. The attack is designed to appear extraterrestrial, forcing the United States and Soviet Union to cease hostilities and unite against the perceived alien menace. Veidt reveals his plan to the other heroes after executing it, ensuring they cannot stop him. Rorschach refuses to stay silent about the deception, forcing Dr. Manhattan to disintegrate him to preserve the peace. The film adaptation changes the false flag from an alien to an energy attack blamed on Dr. Manhattan, but the moral dilemma remains identical. Veidt's plan works, achieving world peace at the cost of millions of lives and requiring perpetual deception. The story refuses to definitively judge whether Veidt's actions are justified, presenting him as both villain and potential hero. This ambiguity makes Ozymandias one of fiction's most disturbing antagonists, because his logic is not entirely wrong. Koba's betrayal. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes reveals that Koba, Caesar's trusted lieutenant, is driven to rebellion not by ambition, but by trauma from human experimentation. Koba, a scarred bonobo, spent years in laboratories where humans subjected him to torturous experiments, leaving him with burns, scars, and deep psychological wounds. While Caesar advocates coexistence with humans, Koba's experiences make him incapable of trust. Koba discovers the human colony is stockpiling weapons and interprets this as proof of inevitable betrayal. He shoots Caesar, blaming humans for the attack, and seizes control of the ape army to launch a preemptive war. Koba's famous statement, "human work," becomes his justification for any atrocity, arguing that apes must adopt human ruthlessness to survive. His scarred body serves as physical evidence supporting his worldview, making other apes sympathetic to his position. Koba is not wrong about human capacity for cruelty, but allows his trauma to justify becoming what he hates. The film presents him as a tragic figure whose suffering makes him incapable of seeing beyond vengeance. Koba demonstrates how trauma can override reason, and how victims of abuse can perpetuate cycles of violence while believing they are preventing future harm. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching.